Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Let me briefly introduce you to our host and our special guest. Fran Tarkenton is an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, serial entrepreneur, and small business advocate. He led the Minnesota Vikings to 3 Super Bowl appearances and retired holding every major passing record. But Fran's passion has always been small business. Over the last 40 years, Fran has built more than 20 successful companies and has been an advocate for small business owners across North America for more than 20 years, working closely with organizations like DECA, the U.S. Small Business Administration, the NFL, the University of Georgia, and many more. Fran's guest today is Zack Pousman. Zack leads Helpfully, an R&D firm with partners and clients worldwide. With a background in human-computer interaction and ethnographic fieldwork, Zack has consulted with companies including Coca-Cola, Verizon Vehicle, Citibank, BlackRock, and Anthem Blue Cross to discover digital opportunities and bring new digital products and platforms to market. Zack has a philosophy degree from the University of Chicago and holds a master's in human-computer interaction from Georgia Tech, where he was a member of the Information Interfaces Group. Today's discussion on design thinking will be an informative one, so let's get started.
Flash wide to the left, Gilliam in the slot to the left. First and goal from the 7. Fran rolls to the right, dumps it out, caught by Foreman, touchdown! Fran Tarkenton's record-breaking 291st career touchdown pass.
Think about that in your life now. Who's in control of your life? You are.
Thanks so much for joining us again. This will be the most unique business discussion that you've ever heard. We have a healthcare company that we're starting up that's going to be unbelievable. And we've been working on it for 8 months. And Zack here, who I'm going to introduce to you in just a minute, got on the board and started drawing things and moving things. And I'm sitting there and it was like, what is going on here? I didn't understand it. And then I got a chance to sit down with him and let him talk to me about design, and he'll talk to you about design. This is as important a message that you've ever had in business. So I want you to pay attention. This is not rocket science, it's not Greek. It's like all things that solve problems, it comes down to being simple. But it's innovative, it's creative. And you and I are living in a world today that's going 1 billion miles an hour. It's changing dramatically. It's the greatest opportunity that I've ever seen in business, and I am 79 years old. Never have I seen a time like this. And we're going to give you some thoughts here, and Zack is, that will kind of open up your brain even more than it has been opened before. A new way to think about your business and how we operate. Zack, welcome, my friend. So,
Fran,
I've
thank you
set
so
you
much.
up now.
No, that was perfect.
You
Sort of high
used the
bar.
word design. Talk to me about design.
Of course, yeah. Design is not just making something pretty. I think a lot of times in business we're people that are interested in the brass tacks.
Good packaging, good messaging.
Yeah,
good
you
commercials.
think about the TV ad, the way that it looks. Is it beautiful? Is it nice to hold in your hand? And that's part of design. I'm not saying it's not. That is also design. But to me, design is really problem solving. And what my company does, what Helpfully does, is we solve business problems with design. We bring a different perspective than some other kinds of teams, some other kinds of approaches. What Helpfully does is we come into your business with the eyes of a designer. And what that means is we are looking at the world in a different way. When I think about what design is or isn't, I think a lot of us have this idea that design is going to be in how it feels. Yeah. And that's not right. I think design is what it looks like. And there's a really famous Steve Jobs quote. He says, design isn't what it looks like. Design's how it works. And it works in some person's life. And so When you get to, explore your business with the eyes of design, it doesn't start with the technology. It doesn't start with all those new things coming a million miles a minute. It starts with people, because we're designing for someone or some certain kind of person or a person with a certain kind of problem. And that's where we start all of our conversations.
People being potential customer,
Yes.
prospect.
Yes.
That the design focuses on how do we message, how do we solve problems for them, how do we think like they may think.
What we want to do when we first begin a project is go out into the world and look at how people solve a problem today. So if all of business is solving problems, what are those problems?
Yeah.
Who's having those problems? How much pain or frustration or worry do they have?
Isn't that what
in
business
those
is about,
problems?
is solving problems?
That is what business
Almost,
is about.
I mean, every day I solve problems or attempt to solve problems. If I cannot solve the problems of my prospect or my customer, what good am I?
That's right. And I think there's a really simple formula. Let me just give you that formula for what it looks like when we think about that. If you can understand your customer, your client, your prospect, and then you can give them what they need, give her what she needs, then you can win. Then you can win her heart, you can win their mind's share, you can win their dollars out of their wallet, and you can let them become fans of your brand. You can let them right into your world. They will use your product, your service, the thing you sell as part of their life. And that's what we want, right? When we think about
That's
being a
basic
business
101.
person,
Yes.
it's simple, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy to do it,
No.
right? I think every company struggles, and I think small businesses struggle with this. I think huge billion-dollar companies struggle with the same problem. They don't either understand their customers or their clients or prospects well enough, and sometimes they don't give them exactly what they need.
I would say that the big companies that you and I both have been part of, I have all my life, they don't even think this way. They don't really think about solving problems for the customer. It's about pushing my product, whatever it might be, or my service onto the customer because I want to make money from you.
Sure, that's right. And of course, you're very myopic as a business owner sometimes. You're very focused on yourself and on what you have to offer.
Exactly.
You focus on making your service better, making your product better, changing the positioning, changing the marketing, right? Those are the levers you have.
Yeah.
But if you can add the lever of understanding people and their needs,
Boy.
you can really get deeper. And you can actually change sometimes your whole product or your whole offering.
Understanding your customers' needs, wants, so forth. That's so simple, but most businesses don't think of that. They are so absorbed with my product,
With what they have.
and my service, and I want you to buy this because I want to make money.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's an advantage, actually, that tiny companies have over the big boys.
Yes.
You have a huge advantage. As a small company, you have direct access to those people.
Yeah.
The actual prospects and customers,
Yeah, you know them.
you know them by name.
Yeah.
And that's something that a team at AT&T or Coca-Cola or the Home Depot can't always say.
No.
They don't know those people as individuals.
You may go to church with them. You may go, you know their kids.
You're
know
in their lives.
You're in their lives. Yeah.
And that's where I want people to start. So instead of thinking design is something that is hard to do, it's very expensive, it takes some rarefied skill set, instead, shift your thinking to design is something we all can do.
Yeah.
And if I can do a little bit better in creating experiences, creating an environment that people really like, you can have a huge competitive advantage. Let me give you a fun...
That's so good. Go ahead.
Let me give you a fun story about that. It's actually a story in Malcolm Gladwell's book, and he talks about, doctors, often also small businesses, right? These doctors
are small business.
little doctors' practices. What causes doctors to get sued for malpractice is not the outcome. It's not the business outcome of the surgery. What causes people to get sued as a doctor is if you get ignored, if you get rushed, or if you get treated poorly. The bedside manner that doctors have is more important to whether they, get into trouble with their clients and customers than the actual outcome of the surgery.
Wow. It's an interesting thing.
And why that's a great story is because it enlarges what should be happening. It enlarges what doctors need to worry about when they think about delivering their service.
Yeah.
Because a lot of doctors, a lot of us, all of us, right? We're technicians, right? We have a skill, we have a specialty, and then we think that that's what people buy, right? We think that's what they're going to buy. They're going to buy our skill, our expertise.
Yeah.
But what they're really buying is also the experience. And so one of the things that I do is a special kind of design. It's called experience design. We try to design people's experiences.
Keep going. Help me there.
One of the tools we use to do that is a thing called the customer journey map. We create a big battle plan. And this is the one that Fran saw and was very colorful and has a lot going on with it. It is a customer journey. It is the journey that somebody needs to walk down to solve their problem.
Yeah.
But it also reflects all of the steps we as business owners need to take to meet the user, to meet the customer at those moments. It is a moment-by-moment reflection of your business. And so, just like in a football game, you can orchestrate those experiences and those moments to happen. The job of an experienced designer is to take apart a big business problem, look at it with those customers' eyes, look at it right through his eyeballs, and then carefully craft the moment-by-moment exchange of value. And that's all we're going to do.
That I can relate to back from my football days. 18 years in the National Football League. I spent my time designing my offense to be able to take advantage of that defense. And that was my whole deal. The physical of my throwing, of my running, was not near as important as that, the design of my offense to be able to make first downs, score touchdowns, have good runs, good passes. And now you look at Bill Belichick. You know what separates Belichick from all the other coaches? He's the best designer of offense, defense, special teams, and doing the things against a specific opponent. And each one of them are different.
Yes.
That puts his people in a position to be able to do better. That's what you're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about. And the great thing about design is, even though it feels a little bit rarefied, it feels special, it's quite democratic. And I want to just urge everybody who's watching this today to believe that design can matter. It'll matter in your business. It can actually make you more money. It lets you earn better profit margins. It lets you take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. But it's also something that everybody can do, and you can actually start it today. Here's what I recommend. I recommend when you try to sort of take on that broad sweep of the customer journey, what you want to do is you want to go out in the world and actually talk with people. There's so much to think about when you think about understanding human beings, right? Those are the most complicated parts of any business. The hardest part of your business is not probably the technology, not the administration, not the operations. It's convincing human beings, right, to change their behavior, to do something else. You could take 4 years of college classes on so many different topics, right? Economics, psychology, sociology, anthropology, philosophy, religion, right? You could spend a lot of time really understanding people. There's so much to human beings. Human beings are not just their thoughts. They're not just that rational mind that's weighing all of the choices and making a smart decision. They are, of course, right, their feelings are also part of how they decide. Their gut instinct, right? They have all these things in their belly, and sometimes that's how we decide. We just decide with our gut. And of course, human beings, right, live inside of a situation. They live in a particular moment in time. They're in a particular room with particular other people, and that's kind of social context or material world, the place where they are, is another factor in how they make a choice. And then, of course, right, we live in culture. We live in this huge soup of understanding what's good and what's bad, what's valuable and what's not. And we use, right, those tools as well as we decide. And so since human beings are so complicated, we've got to just get out in the world and get to know them better. I was very lucky to do some pro bono work we take some of these design thinking workshops over to schools in the area. So we're at Georgia State University, and I was coaching a team about a sandwich cart they wanted to start. And that's their tiny small business, and they're going to start this sandwich cart. And they get, they're telling me how it works and what it is. It's banh mi sandwiches, these Vietnamese sandwiches. And I asked them, why do people buy banh mi sandwiches? And they said, well, because they're hungry. I said, okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah. That's true. I think that's true. But also, Fran, people aren't robots. They're not rational minds only working to fill their body with calories. That is not what's going on. Another reason why people buy banh mi sandwiches is to prove to other people that they know what banh mi sandwiches are, right? They're doing something with that, with a particular kind of purchase. They're using the thing that they bought to prove to themselves that they're a cultured person who knows about the world and the way that food works. They might consider themselves foodies. Yeah. That's a new term. That's like a new thing that we all now need to think, like, am I a foodie or not? Right? We get to think about that now. We weren't thinking about that 10 or 15 years ago, but now we are. And what people do with that banh mi sandwich is they prove to themselves that they're a foodie. They prove to other people that they're cultured and they're exciting and that they're a fun person to hang out with. So that changed how we positioned the product. It changed how we packaged that product, what we talked about. They had actually considered, this team, they were thinking, we're gonna make it a little more easy to digest. We're gonna make this more palatable to the American palate. And I was like, I'm not sure that's a good idea, right? But that's a design choice that they were weighing. Should we do this or that? And I think all of us, right, when we're in our small businesses, we spend time deciding what's true or what's not. So what I want everyone to do is to create a single question that they have about their customers. Is my customer buying my product for the reasons I think? Are my customers the people I think they are? They're oftentimes not just like you, right? Because when you're a business owner, you think, oh, I have this thing to offer, as you said. They have something that they want to sell to the world. And all they need to do is sell it harder, sell it better, sell it more efficiently.
Even that, we think, this is my product, and I love my product.
Of course.
Because I think I can make millions of dollars on my product, and I don't even think about the consumer or what they might want.
You're in love with your product.
I'm in love with my business and the notion of making money, and I just know my product, my service is the best in the history of the world. And if you dummies don't buy it, that's your fault.
That's right. That's right. I think we often think that, right? If they don't buy it, it's something wrong with them.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to go back to that equation, right? The equation is if you understand human beings, understand what they need and want, and you can meet that need, you can solve a problem in their life, well, then you can win. Then you can succeed.
If you're self-absorbed, hard to solve the problem for that person.
That's right.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But the only way that we've found systematically to get out of your own head and out of your own heart is to go out in the world and meet those people.
Yeah.
So either that's conversation. Let me just give you 3 tips, right? And 3 ways to make that real.
And write these down. Write these down.
You can go out into the world and have what we call customer discovery interviews. You can interview people. It just takes 15 or 20 minutes. You can do it over the phone or in person. We love to go in person. I'll tell you, just my bias in the world, I like to go to their workplace, to their home. We actually want to go to the grocery store with you and watch you solve that problem. What is my family going to eat this week? That's a problem people have.
Yeah.
And in today's fast-moving world, there are many ways to solve it. You could go to a store, or you could get one of those newfangled services where they send you a box of all the ingredients, and day by day, they're just filling your pantry with all the right ingredients for your meals. Well, those are 2 different ways to solve the problem, what my family eat. Which one is better? Which one is better for what kind of a customer? So what I think you should do are 3 things. You should run some customer discovery interviews. That's what we call them. It's a technical term for that. What we want to do is make sure people understand the problem that we're solving and who we're solving it for.
Yeah.
There are other ways to do that. Another really nice sort of tool set that you have and you've got ready access to is just fire off a survey. And I'm going to show you a couple of simple tools from usertesting.com You can use Fiverr, which is just a little marketplace. You can even use Craigslist. Use your own email list as the business and send out a survey to find out what people are thinking. Why did they hire you and not someone else?
Yeah.
Why did they pick you? They'll tell you. And what's great about right, this kind of discovery interviews is you'll learn things you didn't even know you know, your business, like all businesses, mine too, it's built on assumptions.
Yeah.
We build it, as you said, we're in love with our own thing.
And most of my errors are errors of assumption.
That's most of everyone's errors. As business people, how do you take your assumptions away? You got to have interaction with those customers, and that's what I meant when I said that's something that you can do better as a small business than a $1 billion company. You can know your customers better, and therefore you can actually help shape and craft something that they can really fall in love with. And then the third thing I think you want to do is find one interesting thing, one thing you've learned from those interviews or from those surveys, and pick one thing to change. Just one. Find something that isn't going perfect, or a place in that customer journey that is not going as well as you would hope, and fix it. It might be how you talk about the product in the very early part of the sales process. It might be something much more granular, as just before they buy, are they picking the right choices of bundles in your business? Could be something post-sale, where you actually want to carefully onboard them, make sure they get up to speed, make sure that they join, right, you and your company just after the sale. Those might be opportunities that you maybe have not thought of and that people tell you about. Well, one of the challenges I had, they might say, I had a challenge, I had a problem with, after I bought it, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. Or I didn't know what to do on my first day. Or after I bought this, I took it to the party, I wasn't sure how to configure it, make it work, run it in my life. Well, that's a great thing that you learned and that you can use your mind and your designer's eye to fix.
Wow. This is just a taste of what Zack does. It's so interesting and innovative and new thinking, and something that all of us can do. And Zack, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, people, for joining us. This is creative, innovative thinking, and I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. We're going to bring you more Zack's coming forward and more of his thoughts coming forward. And we thank you for coming. And we, I know that one of my associates has brought you to this meeting today, and talk to them about how we can help grow and protect your businesses going forward. Thanks again for being here, and I hope you'll come next month.